Can you imagine a world with no stories? No books, no movies, no legends told around a fire? Well, in the beginning, that's exactly how things were. Every single story was locked away, owned by one incredibly powerful being. But a tiny creature, a weaver of webs and clever plans, had an idea that was about to change everything. This is the legend of Anansi.
It's a pretty big question, right? Well, according to the Akan people of Ghana, stories weren't always free for the taking. Nope, they had to be won. And the one who won them was a hero unlike any other.
So let's meet our hero, Anansi. His name literally means spider in the Akan language, and he's a trickster, a bit of a rogue, but also a figure of incredible wisdom. While he can be mischievous, he's one of the most important heroes in West African and Caribbean folklore, mostly because he's famous for outsmarting opponents who are way bigger and stronger than he is.
Anansi's story really kicks off with an ambition as big as the sky itself. He looked up at the heavens and saw this incredible treasure, one he believed shouldn't be hoarded by one person, but shared with everyone down on Earth.
You see, the sky god, Nyame, had all the stories in his personal collection. They were his and his alone. The world below was, well, kind of quiet. It didn't have the tales that teach us, entertain us, and inspire us. So Anansi, who is never short on courage, spun a web all the way up to the sky. He walked right up to the mighty Nyame and made him an offer. An offer that was pretty revolutionary, really. He said, "I want to buy the stories." Not for himself, but for everyone. For all of us. Now, you can probably guess that the sky god wasn't about to just give up his most prized possession. So he named a price. A price so steep, so outrageous, that it was basically designed to be impossible. And I really can't overstate how big of a deal this was. Powerful kings and the mightiest warriors had tried to get the stories, offering all kinds of riches, and every single one of them failed. So Nyame looked at this tiny spider and just laughed. He set a price he was absolutely certain could never, ever be paid. And here it is, that impossible price. Anansi had to bring Nyame 4 of the most dangerous and tricky creatures in the entire world. A whole swarm of deadly hornets, a massive python, a super stealthy leopard, and a supernatural fairy who was a trickster in her own right.
But Anansi had a secret weapon. It wasn't muscle, it wasn't fangs, it was his mind. And he was about to use it to weave a trap for every single one of his targets. Okay, so first up, the hornets. Anansi takes a big gourd, cuts a little hole in it, and then goes over to the hornet's nest. He starts pouring water all over himself, shouting, "Oh no! A huge rainstorm is coming! You're all going to drown!"
And then, so cleverly, he offers the panicking hornets shelter inside his gourd. They all fly right in, and as soon as that last hornet is inside, Anansi plugs the hole. Boom. Trapped. Task number 1, done. Not with force, but with pure brain power. All right, one down. Next up, Osebo the leopard. For this one, Anansi switches up his strategy. He finds the leopard's favorite path in the forest and digs a really deep pit, then covers it perfectly so it's completely invisible. Sure enough, Osebo falls right in. Anansi shows up and offers to help him out using his web. But as the leopard tries to climb, Anansi just wraps him tighter and tighter. He basically uses the leopard's own desperate struggle to trap him completely. And he just keeps going. He tricked the giant python Onani by starting an argument about who was longer, convincing the python to stretch out against a branch right before tying him to it. And he caught the tricky fairy with a doll covered in sticky sap. He'd done it. He captured all 4 impossible creatures and went back to the sky god. Nyame was completely stunned. But a deal's a deal. He was true to his word. He announced that from that day on, every story in the world would belong to Anansi, the small spider who did what all the great and powerful could not.
And this, right here, is Anansi's true legacy. He didn't just win the stories, he gave his name to them. To this day in Ghana, the great tradition of storytelling is called Anansesem, which means spider tales. He literally wove himself into the fabric of story itself.
This beautiful Adinkra symbol is called Ananse Ntantan, or the spider's web, and it's the perfect symbol for everything Anansi stands for. Not just wisdom and creativity, but also the complex, tangled way that life works. It's a symbol of brilliant strategic thinking.
Anansi's influence is just huge. His stories traveled across the ocean during the transatlantic slave trade and became a huge part of Caribbean and African American folklore. In these new places, he became a powerful symbol of cultural resistance. The small, clever hero who could outsmart a powerful master. In fact, Anansi's stories directly inspired another famous trickster you might have heard of, Brer Rabbit. He is the ultimate proof that wit can absolutely triumph over might.
So the story of Anansi leaves us with this really powerful idea. It's a reminder that the biggest problems aren't always solved by the strongest, but by the smartest. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? What seemingly impossible situations in our world today just need a little more of that Anansi-style thinking?